Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where I talk about indoor gardening on a budget. Today is all about how to take care of neon pothos and how to propagate neon pothos. I'll also share my 1-month propagation progress and what happened to the mother plant after I cut it. In general, this beautiful plant is very easy to take care of, so it's great for beginners. Let's get started with light requirements. Neon pothos thrive in bright and indirect light, but it can also tolerate low light. Some direct light, especially gentle morning sunlight, is okay, but if it's too harsh, the bright neon green leaves will turn yellow, which is what happened to mine. If this is happening to you too, don't worry too much, just move it away from harsh sunlight by putting it further away from the window. Neon pothos like the soil to dry out between watering. The plant might give you signals that it needs water by giving you droopy leaves, but I find it's not very obvious. So besides looking out for droopy leaves, I do rely on feeling the moisture in the soil by sticking my finger in. If the top inch of the soil is dry and the pot feels lighter than usual, then I water it thoroughly. I've just been using tap water and I haven't had any issues with it. Some water will flow out of the pot through the drainage holes into the saucer, and I'll actually leave the neon pothos sitting in the water for 10 to 20 minutes to give the plant more time to soak up any extra water it needs. Then I dump the rest of the water out of the tray so that the neon pothos doesn't sit in water for too long. The first couple of days after you water your pothos, you might see water droplets on the leaves. It will look like your potho is crying, but seeing water on the leaves after you water it is actually normal for pothos, so it's not something to worry about as long as you let the soil dry out between waterings. Pothos are tropical plants, but they can do well in a wide range of humidity and temperatures found indoors. So if you're comfortable in your home, your neon pothos will likely be comfortable as well. Fertilize your pothos once a month during spring and summer. I just use a generic liquid houseplant fertilizer, nothing special. If your pothos is not getting enough nutrients, it could also cause the leaves to turn yellow. As the vine grows longer, the distance between the leaves tends to get longer and the leaves tend to get smaller. So if you want to maintain a full and bushy plant, it's important to regularly trim it. This may seem counterintuitive, but it's going to encourage the plant to grow more. And in a minute when we talk about propagation, I'll show you what the plant looks like a month after a trim. Now let's talk about how to propagate neon pothos so that you can make a new plant out of it. There are different ways to propagate, and in this video I will propagate neon pothos in soil. Start by cutting off a vine with a pair of sharp scissors or shears. It doesn't really matter where on the vine you cut. It can be nerve-wracking to cut from the mother plant, but don't worry, cutting back the neon pothos will actually encourage it to grow more and look fuller. And here's what the vine I cut from looks like a month later. You can see that it didn't grow back exactly from where the cut is made, but it has been growing new leaves elsewhere on the vine, and that's going to make the plant look bushier. Now back to how to propagate neon pothos. This vine I have here is called a cutting, which is a small piece of plant used for propagation. Now I can directly put this vine in soil, and if it survives, the vine will continue to grow longer. However, if you want a full-looking baby plant, you will want to have more than one vine coming out of it. So we're going to make multiple cuttings from this. The first thing you want to do is identify the nodes, which is where the petiole of the leaf meets the vine. You will find one or multiple black knobs near the node, which are aerial roots, and that's where the new roots will likely come out of. To make more cuttings, you want to cut about ½ inch above and below the node. For the new baby leaf, I often like to keep it attached to the previous leaf. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cuttings. Also, here are some of the vine that's between the cuttings, and this I'm just going to throw out because it's not really useful. Now you will need a small pot with drainage holes and some soil. Neon pothos are not very picky, so you don't need a particular soil mix. I'm just using houseplant potting mix with some perlite. Now give it some water so that the soil is moist, then stick the cuttings in. Make sure you do it in the correct direction with the side where the petiole meets the vine up. Oh, this one already has such a long aerial root. That's great. That means it'll probably survive. Now all you need to do is to place the pot in a warm and sunny spot. Keep the soil moist, not wet, just moist, for the first few weeks, which helps the cuttings survive. And during this time, the most important thing you will need is patience. Because unlike propagating in water, where you can see the roots grow, when you propagate in soil, you can't see the roots forming inside the soil. It will take at least a couple of weeks for the roots to begin growing. I don't recommend taking the cuttings out of the soil to check on the roots because it will disturb the plant. Now, after the first few weeks, you can start letting the soil dry out between waterings. And here's what my neon pothos propagation looks like after 1 month. You can see new growth and baby leaves coming out of most cuttings, which is very exciting. Most cuttings are also standing tall, which is another good sign, and it's a sign that they have strong roots. And ooh, this root is already coming out of the drainage hole. Another way to check if the cuttings have rooted is to very gently pull on the cutting. You should feel some resistance if roots have formed. Again, it does take a couple of weeks for roots to begin forming, so resist the urge to start tugging on the cuttings right after you place the propagation in the pot. 2 of the 8 cuttings are looking a bit sad and droopy. It's not a good sign, but that's okay. Not all the cuttings will survive. That's just a normal part of propagation. I still don't let the soil dry out completely between watering, but once the plant grows a bit bigger and stronger, I definitely will wait for longer between waterings. Eventually, there will be a vine coming out from each cutting, and we will end up with a full pot of neon pothos. Overall, neon pothos is a beautiful plant that is easy to care for and propagate. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, let me know in the comments, and if you have any other questions, feel free to also let me know in the comments. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Bye!